could have hit it. Just saying. I call the December 12th council meeting to order at 7:02. Let's rise and say the pledge, please. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all. Roll call. Mrs. Conley. Here. Mr. Grove.
Here.
Mr. Marvel.
Here.
Mr. Madison.
Here.
Mrs. Rudy. Miss Atchison is here and Renee, Mrs. Race, is she on? She is on Zoom. She's not feeling the greatest. So
So thank you for staying home and not making us sick.
all right, we're on to public comments. The council welcomes and encourages the public to speak during the public comment and public hearing portion of the agenda. However, council policy is to hear the public comment, not to act on the public comment at this time. Concerns brought before the council during the public comment portion of the agenda will be referred to the city manager for action. If after communicating with the city manager, no resolution is reached, the concern will be elevated to the mayor and then eventually to the council for action. Those citizens wishing to speak on agenda and non-agenda items will be allowed a maximum of 4 minutes each to address their concerns. This is the only time during the council meeting that citizens are allowed to address the council. Please state your name and address for the record if you would like. Any public hearings? Hi. Comments, not hearings. I was looking ahead.
I live at 174 Pine. Hi, guys. So I came here today to voice a couple concerns. Obviously, lately, we've been having some issues with water. That became quite a big issue. And I'm here to ask some questions as far as we obviously know why the issue happened the last time, but I feel like even before then we had issues with our water, with bad water, hard water, and we pay, obviously we all pay for our water and it's quite a bit. So I'm not understanding why our water is as bad as it is. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks, guys.
Come on up.
Cedar Springs, former city councilor. And hi, Alice. I'm glad to meet you. You're working with a great bunch of people and they'll help you with anything and everything you need, not to mention this fabulous staff we have. So just wanted to mention, I am on the planning commission. And one of the reasons that I got on council in the first place was I often thought that the right hand didn't know what the left hand was doing. So I want to tell you right now, we've all been through this multifamily stuff and it was very hard and very difficult, but we got through it. And I've heard from folks that they thought we did a good job. So anyway, we're working on the short-term rentals. We're about to turn over the conclusions we came to and zoning and how many and what it has to do with. And I just have to say the zoning was the most difficult part. And I thought we had very extensive discussions with folks who use short-term rentals and why we would need them in Cedar Springs because of family reunions, class reunions, funerals, so on and so forth, where the family would want to be in one place together as opposed to a hotel or motel. I tried very hard to recommend that we didn't put it in the R1 traditional neighborhood districts. But, you know, the final call is up to you guys because I know what we had to go through. And traditional neighborhoods have enough rentals to deal with. And we do have, 4 already advertised short-term rentals. And they're mostly downtown. So it is the district that we did approve, the B2, R2, and multi-use. So anyway, got you all on the same page and thank you, everybody. I kind of miss you, but I do miss being down here. It just seems just strange to be on this side of the fence. And anyway, have a happy and merry holiday, and hopefully I'll see you at the ball drop on New Year's Eve.
Thank you, Rose.
Anyone else? Do we have anybody on Zoom that would like to make a public comment? Or is it the public? Okay. Then, we will move on. Just know that if, you're having any trouble at all with your water, to bring that problem that happens at the time it happens into the city manager. Make sure she knows, because if we don't know your address and we don't know where it's going on, we can't do anything about it. So, we're, so come on in and bring your address and let us know what's going on, and we'll do what we can.
And Madam Mayor, can I make a suggestion also? Our DPW director, or I don't know if he's the director, our Bill, our wonderful Bill, gave a wonderful presentation on the last meeting about all of the stuff with the water and why there's struggles and some of the things. And if you didn't have an opportunity to hear that, like, I would suggest you go look at that. And I mean, you can just watch, it lives online on Zoom. I'm not saying don't come ask, but that he had some very wonderful explanations about how, as we're growing in the city and our things are extending, and like, that might answer some of your questions also, or make it so that you could ask more specific questions or targeted questions of the city manager or Bill to get answers. And that's, it lives online.
And also on our, city website, go there, if there is anything going on in the community, because they're doing, I don't know, I think she had like 10 updates from what was going on with the water at the time. So, check your city website, talk to Mrs. Falcon. But I have a, this is on the website, the timeline of events that explains everything that happened. And they caught it, within like 15 minutes. And, it's a necessity by the state to do the boil water just in case we have a problem. So, okay. Moving on, we have no public hearings. We're on the consent agenda. Can I get a,
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Yes, Madam Clerk.
oh, I'm sorry. We need to adopt our agenda
Madam-
first.
Motion to adopt the agenda as presented, unless, are there any changes, Madam Clerk? Okay.
All right, thank you. Roll call. Mrs. Conley.
Yes.
Mr. Gross.
Yeah.
Mr. Marvel.
Yes.
Mr. Maxim.
Yes.
Rudy. Yes. Ms. Atchison. Votes yes. Passes 6-0.
We'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
We need to remove anything. Anybody have any questions on the consent agenda? How about a second?
I'll second it.
All right. Mrs. Conley.
Yes.
Mr. Gross.
Yes.
Mr. Marvel.
Yes.
Mr. Maxon.
Yes.
Mrs. Rudy. Yes. Ms. Atchison votes yes. Passes 6-0. Yes, sir.
You might want to mention, for those who haven't been to a meeting before, what all the consent agenda is about. It's normal operating type material. That aren't something, they've been addressed or something in the past that I'll let you.
Yeah, we also have, at the beginning of the year, which our year starts November, that's when our people are elected, newly re-elected or elected. And on here, there are a lot of, mayoral appointments. If you get one of the agendas, it will show you all those. And we have, an opening for, a member on the construction board. It's kind of hard to fill that spot because they need to have some knowledge with construction. But if you, know anybody that would be willing to fill that seat on the board, that'd be great. Just let Mrs. Falcon know. Have them come in and apply. And that is very helpful. But most of this stuff we, on the consent agenda can be taken care of internally and we don't have to vote on it. But if we find something on there that we think we need to discuss, we take it off and put it on a regular agenda.
Madam Mayor, I believe that there's also an opening on the planning commission, that a person just moved and resigned. Did they not? Didn't Matt Hope move out of the city?
He did. But it was discussed at the planning commission member meeting. He still owns property in the city and that's allowed for him to remain on the planning commission. There's 2 or 3 seats that
This conversation. When,
Okay, why don't you have that, we'll,
no, as a
check into
council,
that.
we had that.
oh, I know, but that's not, we don't have that on our agenda, so we'll talk about that.
So Madam
we
Mayor,
will-
I'd like to add that to the agenda for the
Okay.
next meeting.
Okay, yes, we will definitely find out all the rules and figure it out. Also, Mr. Puckett, spoke earlier is going to be on the advisory committee. Him and I spoke and he's gonna fill that position, so that's great, thank you. Nice to have you aboard. We're on motion to approve resolution 2024-30, a resolution to approve policy and guidelines for use by the Board of Review for granting poverty exemptions for tax year 2025.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make that motion.
Madam Clerk?
Sorry,
It's all part of.
that's part of the consent agenda. I have to do it. I'm sorry, guys, boy. You think this was my first year? It's not. I'm like, yes. Okay, so we're gonna go to action items. And that would be A. So motion to approve resolution 2024-31, a resolution to honor the outstanding efforts of election inspectors and precinct chairpersons for the 2024 election cycle. And Mrs. Johnson is going to talk to us about this motion.
Would you like the motion before you talk to us?
All right, so you guys see lots of faces in the audience tonight. I wanted you guys to have the opportunity to put eyes on the hard workers that we had for 2024 that made our elections run so smoothly. If you guys were an election inspector, do you guys mind standing? Thank you for all of the hard work you do. If you served as a chairperson for any of those days, would you mind just giving a wave? Those are those individuals who took on some extra responsibilities and duties for those days. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of background information. So when I first started here at the city a long time ago, we had 3 election inspectors. They did it all. We had 3 election inspectors and 2 receiving board persons, and we processed all of our absentees in the precinct. And we have come a long, long ways from that. And currently we have 23 inspectors. And just in 2024, those inspectors worked 30 days. We had 30 days of live voting in 2024. We also had 1,317 hours of just inspectors. Those are inspector hours worked in 2024. So over 1,300 hours went into casting ballots and working with the public, keeping our precincts open. In addition to that, they also had 70+ hours of training, both formal and an informal on the job training as well. So just wanted to give you guys that information. We also had 3 outstanding inspectors over this last year. We had 3 individuals who worked over 100 hours in the last year for elections. So I wanted to give them a little bit of a special recognition. Jennifer Puckett, if you don't mind giving a wave. Thank you. 139 hours. And Michael Maxon with 118. Paddington, she worked 106 and she was not able to make it here tonight. So like me to read the resolution as it's presented to you? Okay. Resolution 2024-31, a resolution to honor the outstanding efforts of election inspectors and precinct chairpersons for the 2024 election cycle. Whereas the city of Cedar Springs recognizes the importance of free, fair, and transparent elections as the cornerstone of democracy, and whereas election inspectors and precinct chairpersons dedicate countless hours to ensure the integrity and smooth operation of the electoral process. And whereas the 2024 election cycle presented unique challenges, including high voter turnout, evolving technology, facing doubts of public trust, rampant misinformation and disinformation, and growing political divide, and strict adherence to ever-changing election laws, all of which were met with professionalism and unwavering commitment. And whereas these individuals demonstrated exceptional diligence in preparing polling locations, managing the complexities of early voting and same-day registration, assisting voters in upholding the election procedures, and whereas their dedication extended into long hours during early voting and on election day and beyond, ensuring that every vote was counted accurately and securely. Whereas these efforts of these election officials exemplify public service at its finest, fostering public confidence in the electoral process and strengthening the democratic foundations for the city of Cedar Springs. Now therefore be it resolved that the city of Cedar Springs hereby extends its profound gratitude and appreciation for all election inspectors and precinct chairpersons who contributed to the success of the 2024 election cycle. And be it further resolved that their commitment to integrity, accuracy, and fairness in elections is recognized as an invaluable service to the citizens of Cedar Springs. And be it finally resolved that this resolution shall be entered into the official record of the city of Cedar Springs, and that a copy of this resolution shall be provided to the honored individuals as a token of appreciation for their exemplary service. Thank you.
I would like to make that motion.
A second it. Mrs. Conley,
Yes.
Mr. Gross,
Yes.
Mr. Marvel,
Yes.
Mr. Maxon,
For my fellow inspectors, yes.
Mrs. Rudy. Yes. Axton, mayor votes yes. Passes 6-0. Thank you so much. Yes, please.
I understand the way it was. I've done it in the past. You're often you catch the brunt of the frustration of people that are coming in to vote. You're guilty, whether you're guilty or not. And I appreciate the fact that you're willing to do it and accept that comes along with it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, if you would like to scoot, you can. If you want to stay here and listen to the rest of our meeting, we're almost done, actually. So either way, but I'll give you a few minutes to clear the room.
You don't have to stay. You're not that interesting.
For yourself. Do you have that?
We voted, there was I don't, but I can
Okay,
find it.
well, we will. We'll get it.
But
We can't.
Sherry, there was another person, Sherry,
Okay, we'll discuss.
and we, like, it came to us and we voted that we were not gonna do that. I can find it. For the next meeting.
All right, we're on discussion items. Anybody have anything to discuss? Okay, communications, do we have any extra communications? Department reports. City manager, Mrs. Falcon.
In the month of November, I just wanted to mention, we held interviews for the utility operator position. And we offered the position to Joseph Slaktowski, and his first day will be this coming Monday. So exciting to welcome him to our team. At the November 18th DDA meeting, just for informational purposes, I wanted to share, in 2022, the DDA board had a strategic planning session. They called in a consultant that helped them through that. The board would like to kind of update that. So I've secured Travis Alden from The Right Place as our facilitator this time. We don't have a date scheduled yet. I kind of sent those out to the DDA board today, looking for feedback. Early February, really early to mid-February. Then we can get that scheduled and get their plan updated before the next budget comes out. So if the plan. Just want to update the plan. Other than that, as Ms. Powell mentioned, the Planning Commission continues to work through updating the master plan. We have a preliminary goals and objectives. I think we're doing great with that. It's just a lengthy process. So be patient. Eventually it will come to you all for review, but right now it's going through the Planning Commission steps. Michigan Natural Resource Trust Fund grant, just an update on that. I met with the city engineers last week, and we had some documents due to the state of Michigan by December 9th. They were submitted December 5th. I got an email back saying, thank you for submitting everything. We'll let you know. So kind of waiting for that feedback, but we are proceeding with the engineers to create all the specs for the bathrooms and the playground and additional parking and everything that's going to go into that grant. So we can bid that out for a 2025 construction project. So we're moving forward with that. That's about it. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Department of Public Works. Tanya.
Hi. Excuse me. So we finished leaf cleanup last month. We ended up with a total of 54 loads, which that's pretty good. We ended up switching over our equipment from leaf cleanup to plowing. And then we fixed the outlets downtown. And then, let me think. So on the 11th, we had a water main break on Muskegon East by Park. And then on the 19th of November, we had a failure, which caused a pressure loss. So I wrote up a little spiel on that and I'll read it to you guys.
Can you
So November
be a little louder,
19th,
please, honey? Just a little.
on November 19th, about 6:45, we had a citywide pressure drop with our water. This was brought to our attention by multiple phone calls. Bill was at the well house by about 6:50 and I was there around 7. By the time I showed up there, he had already had the well running, which was pumping water back into our mains. When looking into this and why it happened, we came across an issue with the internet. When the internet blipped, it caused the SCADA system to freeze, which in return did not initiate an alarm to the auto dialer. Because this alarm was not sent to the auto dialer, it did not call out. So therefore, no one knew there was an issue until it was too late. Once we figured out what had gone on, we started notifying residents about the boil water advisory. Russ, one of our staff, started the paperwork and phone calls to Eagle along with the news stations. And then Darla and Rebecca worked to get the process going Darla and Rebecca worked together to start the process of contacting residents by use of the city web pages, Facebook, and email. Now we have 24 hours to notify the residents when we have a boil water. We had that done in about 2 hours, which, not to pat ourselves on the back, but I think that was pretty good. The next step in the process is to draw 2 sets of samples for bacteria 24 hours apart. You have to get both of those samples back with negative results before we can lift the boil water. Due to the loss in pressure, it stirred up the water system, which causes brown water. And for some of our residents, it's just iron in the water. It's not harmful. We started flushing hydrants to alleviate that issue. And I'd like to say that if anybody has any brown water, just contact City Hall and we can hopefully address the issue with that. And that's
Thank you, Tanya. Law enforcement. Mr. Paulson. Lieutenant.
Survived my first month in this role. know everybody at City Hall, getting to know everybody at the fire department and in town. It's been fun. This week is our block training for our department. We had bomb squad come in and do a little spiel on what they do. Prosecutor's office come in, just do a legal. Our crime analyst came in and did some investigation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Datla.
Thankfully, November was a little bit slower than most years. About on our normal call volume. It was uneventful until we had to do the water distribution. That was a little bit of an energy going through. Everybody donated time, went through, some people donated very much for that. Hopefully that went off as well as everybody would hope. Tomorrow morning, I am gonna go with Fire Commission. We're gonna order our truck. So we're gonna get that through the process and,
That's exciting.
2 years from now, we can celebrate.
Celebrate every little piece along the way. For that amount of money, we get all the wahoos.
Other than that, that's been our month. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Happy holidays.
Thanks, you too. City Clerk Rebecca Johnson.
Or you guys already heard from me quite a lot tonight, but you'll get a little bit more.
We always like to hear from you.
Let's see, there we go. So I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update. I apologize if this report didn't make it into your packet, but you guys do have printed copies, and I will include it into you guys' next month agenda as well. But I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an overview of what the clerk's department has done in 2024. While elections has been a huge part of what we've done, we have done so much more. I just kind of wanted to give you guys just a glimpse what it looked like in 2024. Together as a team, and we managed over 120 election shifts. That's staffing, coordination, new hire paperwork, everything top to bottom. Included in that, we issued over 1,106 absentee ballots. That process is not a quick process. Those ballots get touched at least 8 times in the process between April or and it's a lengthy process to go from start from finish. In addition to that, we also registered 71 same-day voter registrations. That's throughout the entire year. And that's either on election day or during early voting. And that process, again, is it's time consuming, and the inspectors did a great job getting those individuals to us in a timely manner, but nonetheless, a big feat for an office of 2 people. In addition to that, mailing out 2,600 early voting notices, countless hours of training. Again, we were building the plane as we were flying it. We had a great meeting with our election inspectors tonight, and they all did a phenomenal job. But enough about elections, right? We move on to some of our daily tasks, monitoring the website, Facebook posts, public notices, agendas, packets, FOIAs, cemetery, insurance, marijuana licenses, mobile vending, Michigan fire withholding, ordinances, resolutions, minute indexing. The list goes on and on and on. Some of the things I kind of wanted to point out tonight included 78 posts to our website, 170 city calendar updates, 208 posts to the Facebook page, 69 formal public notices, 40 different agendas, packets, and sets of minutes, 31 FOIAs. Can go on and on, 9 marijuana licenses, 2 mobile vending licenses, 30 resolutions. But I just wanted to let you guys know the monumental lift that our department has done. And I wanted to say a special thank you to April. the thanks I can give to her. You guys can see in 2024, there was room for no more. I worked 8.5 extra additional weeks, including April at almost 4 additional weeks. What we've done in 2024, I just wanted you to really get the picture of the monumental task that the both of us have work to do. So thank you guys for listening for just a moment. So thanks.
Thank you.
Sure, Emily Landon.
This one got me first, so. So we're back in full swing again with tax collections. Winter taxes have been rolling in, so that's been going very well so far. We've also received our first reimbursement for the RAP grant for Heritage Park, so that was $125,000. And we will be applying for the remainder of the reimbursement sometime in the next month or so. So I've got our last quarterly reporting to do for this year. So along with that, I'm going to be applying for the remaining 50%. So it'll be the $250,000 total that we should see this fiscal year. Along with that, we will have a few budget amendments coming in the next couple months, and then also we will start budget planning for the next fiscal year. So it'll be busy again, start of the year.
Thank you. Do have any code enforcement or building? Council comments. Let's start with Mr. Gross.
I can't thank enough for each of the employees that we have for the city. Fire department, sheriff's department, treasurer, clerk's position, the manager. Like I said before, and I believe it was the last meeting, I just can't believe the camaraderie and the workmanship we have of all of you together right now, and it is noticeable. The amount it is and the people that come in and have commented on it. I think it's a real great deal that it is the way it is. I have been surprised at how many people have asked me about the old county building and how soon we're going to start building. Some of it's been positive and that we really need to expand. Others are asking why and what are you going to do with this building? Well, the intent is to sell it. Will it sell quickly? Who knows? But we aren't even in the other one yet. So let's wait and see. A large number of them have recognized the fact that the city has grown. The city hall has not grown. It's time for us to grow with it and create something that is a little more modern and functional for the city and the city council and so forth. And if you have a meeting, you have enough to seat everybody without having to pull chairs into the hallway. So as I said before, I did not intend on running again this time. I will be here. I will contribute. If it gets to the point where I can't, then we'll find somebody else. But I've enjoyed the past 8 years. I intend on enjoying the next 4 years. So thank you all, and definitely for all the hard work that all of the departments have done for the city.
Rebecca.
Kind of picking up on that, and some of the comments that I read in the master plan survey. Some people complained that the city was run by a good old boys club, that they didn't feel informed or involved with the process. My answer to that is, please don't make Jerry run until he's 103 years old. Please participate. Come be part of the good old boys club. Come to meetings. If there's an opening on city council, run for it. If there's openings on boards, please, by all means, run for them. Let your voice be heard. Bring your knowledge and your expertise to the city that you live in and that we all want to see thrive and succeed. I'm sitting on the board. I feel like I'm contributing, but I'm just an ordinary schmuck who, thought that I could make a difference. So I would encourage anybody to please, 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 participate in anything that you feel competent enough to contribute to.
Trudy?
That being said, I don't know if I feel confident in running, but or being on the board, but I appreciate the time and opportunity that I can put my time into, and I thank you all for being here for the election. It was amazing. I came in and there was a lot of people. So thank you for your time.
Anna?
I would just like to kind of bounce back on the water. That seemed to be a big discussion about why, like, we weren't putting more money into repairing the water, and we pulled a $3 million bond to fix water. I mean, we're putting a tremendous amount of money into expanding, repairing, we're putting in a new well. I don't know how much more of that is even feasible. This idea that somehow we're not putting money into our water system is just not accurate. And I am so impressed with our DPW folks who were on top of that so fast. That was so fast. I mean, and I know I've said this before, but girl from Flint, okay, it took years for them to get their water fixed, to even get it acknowledged that there was a problem. And the instant there was a problem here, they notified. And it was, Darla was on a text with us, and it was on Facebook, and it was spreading out in chains, and it was a please contact everybody you know. And the testing for the depressurization is out of an abundance of caution from the state to ensure that we do not get bacteria. And you know what? There wasn't any. Both tests came back negative. So how fabulous is that? Like, the system worked. It's like when you have a fire alarm and you kick everybody out of the building and you got out in 2 minutes. And yeah, it was terrible and raining and nasty out, but guess what? We can get everybody out of the building. That's what we learned. And I'm just phenomenally grateful. And we're going to keep adding to our water system, and Bill can tell you lots and lots about why that's a struggle. But this idea that somehow there's negligence happening is just, it's just not accurate. And our people worked some crazy hours and delivered water and just made it happen to make sure that people had safe water. So I just feel like we have to say that. Like, that's our job as council, is to say that this is what's happening. So that's what I got. But yes, the elections, amazing. You all phenomenal. And I must be the good old boys club, because this is year 15 for me on this council. And, you know, not gonna lie, not so sure I want to do it anymore. So, but yeah, it's everybody who's here is here because they care about their community. And, you know, we don't get paid big money. We're here because we care about the water, we care about the fire department, we care about the health and community and the streets, and that kids can get to school, and that all of the things that make a community matter. And that's why every single person that's up here and every single person that's over there is here. So, and then there's that squirrel thing. We had too many squirrels, so they tell us. That came out in the survey. They're very concerned about the squirrel population. Seriously. I'm just saying, that was in one of the criticisms in the master plan survey, is that we have too many squirrels. And then there was also a big concern about the roads and the lights out by Aldi, which, by the way, are not in the city limits. So just so we're clear, feel like we need to have that conversation. So that's what I'm going to put out there. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Marvel?
Yeah, just kind of piggybacking off of that too. I mean, I get with the water system, like, their mechanical failures happen, I mean, with moving parts and stuff. But I understand why there was frustration with people, because that was a huge inconvenience for businesses and schools closing. I mean, I get it. And I guess I just want to tell the public, from what I'm seeing, the city went above and beyond with doing that repair. I mean, they were on top of it. So I personally don't know how we as a council and we as a city can win the trust of the people that are so critical. Maybe that's something we can talk about more, but yeah, they put the reports out, they test the water coming out of the well, was it quarterly? The numbers are good. And so I guess that's a question I have, but I believe the city went above and beyond, and I think that the DPW and for Darla and for the notifications that were sent out, they went above and beyond. So,
City water. Out of my tap, unfiltered,
so,
just saying.
but I love this town, I really do, and I love the people in it, I love serving here, and so anything that happened to the water system, it affected me too, so I feel for the town, and yeah, we can be better moving forward, every day you can get a little better, so. Yeah.
One more comment. I was not going to breach the barrier of water, since that has been broken. I would challenge those who do not live in the city and were complaining about the city's water to test our water more frequently. None of our water gets tested, probably other than when the well was put in. You may be surprised at what you're drinking outside of town also, and you're thinking it's cleaner water than what's got in the city. I would suspect you'll find there's things in it that you didn't know were in it. So I trust our water department, and I believe they test it as frequently and probably more frequently than they need to. And put our water up against anybody's water. There are the slip ups. Okay, the water did look nasty. Letting it run a few minutes, clearing out the pipes. So, and even before that, I was drinking it before I ran it enough to clear it all out. So it was just, I believe in our water and our people that are running it. So, okay. Thank you for giving me that extra.
I am proud of our staff again, and I really do believe that they hit the water issue running. You also need to know that every time we're doing a big mill and fill or on the roads, they're fixing the pipes underneath. That's how we're doing it, because we're digging down almost to them. So they're putting new pipes. So that's going to keep continuing throughout the city. It's going to keep continuing. It's all infrastructure, making use of that. But we are also expanding, and every time we expand, something happens with a different area. That's why it's important to let us know. I call when I have a little bit of an issue. I will right away tell them, and then they say, oh, that's from that area. Let me check and see what's going on. We've had people hook up to water that shouldn't be hooking up to our hydrants. Yeah. And then we found it because somebody told us their address. There's just different things happening. The new well, once we start getting that online, that's gonna, probably rough up a little bit for a little bit, but then it's gonna help clear a lot of the water. Anytime there is an issue, the only thing that we know that could maybe help is treating more, but then you're putting more chemicals in. So do you want to put more chemicals in? Do you want to not? Any other things are very expensive. They would make our water cost even higher. So I have a lot of faith in our water department and what's happening. But we can't do anything if we don't know where there's a problem. So bring it in, let them know. You can come down and look at the tests anytime you want to, and see how our tests will come out. You can ask for those.
Bill loves to talk to
Yeah.
people about water.
Yeah.
Like Bill loves to talk to people about water. So
The staff down here, if you just want to come down and say hi, they are wonderful. They're just great. So any problems or situations that you come across, come down and talk to these guys. And then the other steps are coming to me, coming to the council, but I usually hear about whatever situations there are, and I haven't really had a doubt about the way they've handled them. So once again, ladies, gentlemen, everybody that worked on the election, thank you so much. And having people here that have a great personality is going to help people want to come in and vote. And I mean, every time I come in for voting, it's just great atmosphere in here. So thank you again. And that's all I have. And we are adjourned.